All right, some discoveries that we found in doing this app is that the teacher needs to have an authentication code. So, like when I go out to the boat dock, there's a gate to get in. Every month, that authentication gate code to get in, that 1 month it'll be 315. Okay, another month it'll be 423. Are you with me? Every month that authentication code. So, we're going to have an authentication code in here. So let's go ahead and put in a layout. Actually, yeah, I need a horizontal. And we'll call that, rename that HA authentication code. Yes. Okay, HA authentication. Inside of there, we're going to go with fill parent, stretch it all the way across. Background color is none. And in here, I'm going to have a label. I'm going to have a password box. And you need a button to enter in the password. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So this one's going to be called LBL authentic. I'll just go LBL auth. And that should say authentication code. Colon. You can make it 18 font like the other ones. This one right here, we should rename this as password authentication. And we're going to make all these 25% on their widths, so they fit in that box. 25, 25, and 25 is only 75, so that should fit in a 100% box. And this button is going to be called BTN submit authentication, or submit auth. That's fine with me. And down here, I'm just for the sake of time, I'm just going to hit submit. And I'm going to make it a rounded rec. And I'm going to make it a red background. I could go and make this, we could put an image on it. If you guys want to put an image on it, that's fine. So this is our app. And then there's one more thing I want to do down here. I'm going to go ahead and grab a vertical layout, put it right underneath there. And I'm going to go fill parent with the vertical layout. And inside of here, I'm going to put in the spinner for the ticket amount. And I'm also going to put in a spinner for which team you're on. Okay? Now let me explain. This is a great story. Tuesday, I'm up in Columbus. I'm at a booth. I have no idea who's going to be next to me, right? The teacher next to me, the lady who's running her, I don't know, it was like a natural science booth or something from up north, comes up to me and says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I said, we build Android mobile apps. And I said, "Yeah, we're actually building an Android app for Tribe Tickets at our school." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that would be awesome." She said, "I want that at my school." She says at her school, what they do is that they give out these Pride tickets, and when you enter in the school, you guys know how we have a TV out front. They have a humongous football field display, and they have teams. They each have a teammate or a football player on the field, and whoever is winning by team, they move their player further down the field. The first one to score a touchdown, that they get a pizza party that month or something. So think about this in our app. If we can connect who's getting a ticket and which team is getting the ticket. So not only when you get a ticket, your team gets a ticket. Do you think that would be motivation for you to go get a ticket? Yes. And if we could display it, I'm going to work with Mr. Butts here. We can display it on that TV out front. How cool would that be? And we'll tell you which team's in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Is that cool? All right. So that's the idea here. So, and now I'm populating the spinner. I have Aquarius. I have Andromeda, Andromeda, Aries, Chameleon, Columba, Draco, Gemini, Hercules, Hydra, Leo, Orion, Perseus, and Phoenix. Okay, the width is going to be Phil Parent. The prompt is going to be select team name. The selection will be, I'll just go right to the middle pack, Draco. Okay. So we're finished there. That's populated, and now we can select what is down here, HA spinner. So we don't need this anymore. Delete that. Okay, and there's our, that is our app. We want to go to screen 1. Screen 1, I want it to be not scrollable. Okay, and I want everything to fit on the app. So HA logo, let's make it 40%. I have the enabled button. Might have to change some of these percents a little bit. Height is 10%. Okay, so at this point in time, we're ready to start putting code into our GUI. Now, the best advice I can give you is when you're coding is to use your GUI as a checklist. Does anything on this checklist work right now? No. So you just want to start up here, get this barcode scanner to work, get barcode, okay. Let's rename that guy. So this one right here, we're just going to rename this as BTN barcode student. Okay. So now, the next thing you need to do is figure out how many variables you need. A variable is used to store information in memory about, for example, let's say you're creating Pac-Man. We all know that Pac-Man has number of lives, and Pac-Man eats dots and gets points. Are you with me? So you would need to create a score variable, okay? And you would need to create number of lives variables to store how many lives. So if you look at this, we need to create a student code variable, right? We need a teacher code variable. We need an authentication code variable. We need a team name variable. We need a spinner ticket amount variable. And the last thing we probably need, it's not really on here, is we need a total number of tickets. So not only do I give you 5, but you know, we're not really concerned with how many tickets I give you. You guys are more concerned with your total, is that right? So we need totals in here. So let's go to the blocks. Okay. And the first thing I do is start creating these variables. So you go to your variables drawer. and you're going to go to initialize, okay? And now I'm going to copy this, duplicate. Now I have 2 variables. Duplicate, I have 3 variables. Duplicate, I have 4 variables. And duplicate, I have 5 variables. Okay? So here we go. Let's just start from the top. First one, student underscore code. It's my student code variable. Next one, teacher underscore code variable. Okay? Next one, team name. Okay? Next one, authentication. Authentication code. Next one, ticket count. Next one, I need one more. Sorry, I need 6. Duplicate. And here I need a total. And I'll I'll say total tickets. Okay? How many people understand what I just did? You good? What? I just created 5 variables. Actually, I created 6. Now, here's the kicker, okay? You have to decide if that variable is going to be a string or a number. Here's my rule of thumb. If you don't do math with it, it's probably a string. What's your social security number? Is that a string or a number? Nope. It's a string. What's your phone number? String or a number? Do you do math with your phone number? Nope, it's a string. Okay? So basically the rule of thumb is if you don't do math with it, it's a string. Even though it has numbers in it, numbers and special characters. Think of your email address. Those are numbers and letters, special characters. Okay? Now, you're getting ahead of me here. So let's go to this student code. Is that going to be a string or a number? String. So you go to text and you get a string, which is in quotes. You need to change yours to that string right there. Okay? Teacher code, string or number. That's going to be a string. So you can just put the quotes in there. Team name. Well, that's not even close to be a number. That's a string. Authentication code. Guess what? That's going to be a string also. Ticket count. That's going to be a number. Total. Well, we're going to do math with the total, right? We're going to be adding to it, so that's a number. So you put in a 0 there. Okay, everybody good on that? It's real easy. Just think. Do you do math with it? It's a number. If you don't, probably a string. Thumbs up if you get that. Okay, good. Here we go. Now I'm going to just go back to my designer. I'm going to work my way down this app. I'm going to get this barcode to work. I want to scan it in and get it to go into that text box. So do we have any non-visible components in here? Holy cow, we don't. Okay, we got a lot to do here. So we need a sound. We need text-to-speech. We need a speech recognizer. Let's go to sensors. We need a barcode scanner for the teacher. We need another barcode scanner for the student. Okay, let me rename those right now. So this is barcode scanner student. This one right here is barcode scanner teacher. Just give those a name so you can go back to them. And what else do we need down here? We need a clock because we're going to register date and time. Okay. And I think we're ready to go. So now we can go in here. And I work my way down. So, barcode students. When it's clicked, I want to call my student barcode scanner. I want to tell it to do a scan. And after you have scanned, okay, I want to register what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and set my variable. And if you go to the ticker in here, that little scroll bar, which is really just a spinner. I'm going to select student code, and I want it to be set to the result of the scan. And then I'm going to take my student text box, and then I'm going to set its text to the result. Okay? Now, the great thing about this is that doing a student scan is almost identical to doing a teacher scan. So guess what? I'm going to just duplicate this. How many people know how to duplicate blocks of code? Okay? I'm duplicating both of these. And over here, I'm going to drag this over a little bit. Over here, this is just going to become teacher. BTN teacher. And this barcode is for the teacher. And this scanner right here is for the teacher. And this is your global teacher code, not student. And this is your TXT teacher code. And boom, you just handle both of those buttons. So, all right, so I'm back. So now the barcode scanner is reading in. And now all we have to do is get Mr. Butts to put your guys' barcode on the back of your student ID. You guys carry your ID around. I really wish they would quiet her outside. All right, so let's go back to my designer. What's next? Let's work our way down. Does everybody understand how I'm using the GUI as a checklist? Thumbs up if you understand how to do this. Okay? All right, let's go to the authentication code. So, going back to my blocks. So, here's how I'm going to handle this. You're going to click on the BTN button to submit the authentication code. Okay? And I'm going to create a procedure to check authentication code. Okay? And now, once I've created that procedure, I can go call it. Okay? So, when we click on this button, all right, so if, and here's another thing I'm going to do, okay? So let's go back up here. I'm going to initialize the screen 1. Okay, when, that's back press, don't want that. Screen 1, when screen 1 is initialized, I am going to disable the count button. I'm not going to show the 2 spinners. I don't want them to be there. So I'm going to go down to my spinners, okay, spin team, and I want spin team set spin team visible to be false. I don't want to see it. Don't let them select teams until they put in the authentication code. Are you with me? Okay. Duplicate this. And then their the spinner ticket amount will be false also. And then the count button, let's go BTN count. The BTN count button or this BTN tribe logo is what we call it. We're going to set it's enabled to be false. Here it is, set enabled to be false. And you won't be able to press that button. You won't be able to use it. So when they get the code right, so now if a student gets this app and they don't know the code, they can't give themselves tickets. Are you with me? So now you're going to check this and you're going to say, okay, if, and I'll do an if statement up here. And up here, let's go ahead and set the authentication code. I'll set it to be 1111. So right now, if you type in 1111, then this app will work. Are you with me on that? Okay. So then I come down here and say if, when you click on the submit authentication code, if the, let's go to your variable. Well, let's do a comparative. Okay, so let's do some logic and compare these. And I'm going to say logic if the get authentication code and I tell you what, I did this wrong. Okay, this should really be 0. This is not really the best thinking in the world. So let's give ourselves another variable. I'm going to move these down a little bit. And then I'm going to duplicate this one. And I'm going to call this authentication code. Like, you know, they have a code they enter, and then you have a code that it is. Are you with me? Let's call this password. Okay, we'll call this password code, and we'll make our password code 1111. And then down here, I can say if the authentication code that they entered is equal to, and now I can go to my variables and get the password code, then we can come up here and get all this, duplicate this, drag this down. And then I can take all these out here, drag them in here, get rid of this, and then change all these to true. Okay, and then one thing here I need to do also is I need to go ahead and get the password that they typed in. So I need to go to variables, and I need to go ahead and set don't know what just happened there. So when this button is, you want to set the authentication code to whatever was typed in at the password box. So let's go to the password authentication code, and this should be the text that they typed in there. Okay? You guys with me on that? So set the authentication code to the password authentication box, whatever they typed in. And then we're going to check it to see if it works. And then if the codes are right, we're going to allow the spinners to come back on, and now they can start giving you tickets. So like if a student gets this app and you're not authorized, you can't, if you don't know the code, you can't give out tickets. Does that make sense? So now I have the authentication and the submit button working. So now I'm just going to move on down to the spinner for team and the spinner for ticket amount. So I'm going back to my blocks, and that's set right, so that's working. So now I can go to my spinners, and there's just really, after selecting, it's all there is to it. And you're going to go get set your variable. Okay, so go ahead and set your variable. What variable am I going to set here? I have to select a team name, and I want to set it to the selection, get selection. That's it, that's done. So now you know what team you're on. We can send that to the principal. And now we're going to go down to spinner tickets, and after selecting the number of tickets they're going to give you, okay, then here you're going to go back and just, I'm going to do something similar to this. I want to set the ticket count to your get selection, okay? And I want to display that in my label. So I go to label, .text, and I want to go ahead and set that to my ticket total. So you go to variables, and you go ahead and get your ticket total. And now you got to do a little bit of math in here, so we're going to copy this one. And you want to set the ticket total to equal, do some math, and here you're going to say, this is my variable, and I'm going to say get ticket, I'm sorry, let's put that one over here. We want to say get total tickets plus the ticket count. Okay, so the total is equal to total plus the number of tickets I just gave you. So if you had 20 and then I just gave you 5, now you got 25. Because I had to add the 5 on to the 20. Does that make sense? So that's how it'll work, and we'll display the tickets. Okay, and then if we want to do something fun in here, we could do like text to speech. So you go in here and you go to text to speech. We don't have it. So let's go back to designer. And let's go to media and text to speech. Drag it in there. We have one in there? Did we have one in there? Text to speech. Okay, there it is. I don't need this sound 3. And I really don't need this sound 2. I only need one notification sound, and I can do that all at the end. Okay. So now we're ready to go text to speech. And once they've given you a ticket amount, then I can call my text to speech and say something like, we can use our variables. Five minutes left. Oh, now I can join some strings in here. If you go to text, you can do a string join. And I can join the total tickets. And I could join something like this. I could say, let's go get some variables here. I could say, let's go ahead and say the student name. So let's go ahead and get student code. And Iris can come on and say student code. And I can go to a text. Has been awarded. And then I can join this to another string. And I can get a text. And I can join something else in here. And here I can say tribe tickets. And then in here I can go get another variable. And I could say student has been awarded total, and I could do ticket count. Ticket count, number of tribe tickets. Okay, you guys with me on that? And now when I assign those tickets to you, Iris should come on and say, student 022339 has been awarded 5 tribe tickets. Okay?